Okay, this is a short tutorial on how to use the Flex Audio in Logic to alter the pitch and to create false harmonies, sort of fake harmonies, and edit currently recorded vocals or any other audio that you've recorded, such as a bass guitar. So all we're looking at here, if I just close down the editor at the bottom, we want to be able to access the audio editor. So normally if you just double click on an audio region like that, it will bring up this audio editor. But the other way to get to this sort of menu, this window, is by going to the window here and the open audio file editor, which is exactly, it'll just create a pop-out window of what we're looking at down the bottom. Now, to be able to edit the pitch and do some various other things, this is just a vocal that we've got here. This is and I'm going to enable the Flex Audio for the overall session first of all, and then we're going to enable it just on this track as well. It's going to analyze the file. So if I want to be able to do this in the little editing window down here, at the moment it's set to flex time polyphonic, but we want to just select pitch, and it should now analyze this file and analyze the pitch, and we should see some little blocks appear, which are the individual notes and transients within this. Now this has happened once before where I wasn't seeing the blocks that I wanted to see, and for some reason if I just scrolled up and down we'll find them there. So it's in the, because we're in the piano roll editor, it's actually got the lowest MIDI notes, C-2, all the way up to C8, which is like an 88 key keyboard. So normally these should just show up. Logic should be smart enough to just pop them right in front of your eyes, but if these little blobs don't appear before you straight away, like then, just scroll up or down until you see them there on the mouse or the trackpad. So I'm just going up and down here. Now each one of these little blobs, and I tend to like to go in a little bit finer to edit these, is I'm actually just going to solo this track, so we're just listening to the vocal at the moment. Okay, so first of all, straight off the bat, the quickest and easiest thing to do here is you can actually grab a note and change the entire note. So that note there is a looks like a G. I could make that an A if I wanted to. So that's the simplest function you can do here. You can actually just change the entire note. And the other thing that you can do is, we can see this little line that we're looking at, that's the actual pitch over time. So we've got time left and right, and we've got this is normally when we're looking at a waveform, this is the amplitude over time, so the volume, but this little thing shows us the pitch over time. You can see that's like got quite a lot of vibrato on that note. So these 6 little nodes are the 6 main functions of this flex time editing for flex pitch. So we can change the vibrato if the note was a little bit wavery and we wanted to just sort of tame the note a bit. See how it's a bit smoother. If you were a bit sharp or flat at the front end of the note or at the end, you can use these little pitch drift tools to bring the pitch up and down. So that'll go sharp at the end now. So it's quite fine tuning that you can do here, or you can ramp up to a note. oops, I've just changed the gain there, which is the volume of the note. So I grabbed the wrong node. So I'll just return that to normal. So that's the other great thing you can do in this editor. If you've got a note that's too quiet or too loud, you just grab the bottom left-hand one, which is the note gain, and you can see the size of the waveform increasing in the background. And that's in decibels. So if you pump that up to 1 decibel, that's 10% louder, 50% louder, double the volume. So and then the only other one that we haven't covered here is the formant shift, which is if you drag that up, it'll sound like you're singing through your nose, and if you drag it down, it'll sound like you're singing through your throat. So you could actually select multiple notes here. Let me just drag, here we go, multiple notes. I've just done something weird here. I'm just going to undo that. There we go. I just drag these notes, and to show you what that sounds like, I'm going to put the formant up high, and we'll listen to that.
Make
So it sounds kind of odd.
Make everything.
Kind of changes it a bit chipmunky. And then if we change the notes will stay the same, but it's kind of like the tone of the note will change.
Make
So that sounds like you're more of a baritone.
Make everything.
And then if we return that back to normal, then that's just the normal recording here.
Make
So a couple of funny things you can do, a couple of extra things, is if I actually duplicate this track, so I'm just going to temporarily take that flex audio off so we can just sort of see the track like we normally would at the moment, but you can duplicate this. So I'm just going to go in and right click on this track and select duplicate new track with duplicate settings. So this track is going to be exactly the same, and then we just need to copy and paste this audio. So I'm going to hit Command C, or you can go edit and copy, and now we want it on this track, so I'll select that track, and it's going to pop it right on this time marker there. So I'm going to File and edit paste rather, and then we should have an exact duplicate of that same vocal. We'll have two vocals, and we'll pop the flex time back on and make sure we've got that on both. So let's have a look at this one. I'm just going to double click on this, and there's our little editor that's popped up. So I want that on pitch as well, and then we can't see it, but if I scroll down it should be there. Beautiful. So this is how you make a little bit of a harmony. So now we've got two versions of that same track going at once.
Make everything.
So you can simply just grab, oops, I've made that new region again. I'm going to undo that. You can simply grab these blobs here and just drag them up, say a fifth. So sometimes I just like to look at one note here. So that note's on a, looks like it's on a B. So just drag that up. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones, I think is a fifth, and we'll have a listen to that.
Make everything.
So we've got a bit of a harmony happening there. So you could actually call this one main vocal, and then you could call this one here, artificial harmony or something along those lines. So you can come up with some kind of cool effects, and you can make it sound robotic if you like by changing the vibrato to 0. That makes it sound very robotic.
Make everything.
And then if you want to just change the volume on on that harmony and make that a bit quieter. You can sort of blend it in with the original vocal.
Maker.
So you can come up with some really interesting effects, and you can use this flex audio, flex time on any track, even if it was like a bass guitar recorded, or if you've converted one of these, say if we want to convert this to audio, so we've got MIDI here, we'll just go edit, we'll go file rather, and we'll bounce these regions in place. If I just click OK, it'll actually bounce out this bass guitar as an audio file and pop it on a new track for us. So rather than bouncing the track, I select bouncing regions because it'll just give me the length of those regions rather than a whole stem. So that's a nice stereo. It's actually mono because it's bass, but we've got this stereo file here. And if I was to click see we've got the flex audio on for the whole session. So we've got the global flex on now. I just want to pop it on this one track. And it's analyzing it. Now I should be able to double click on that. And I already had the window open. And do exactly the same thing for the pitch. So I'm just going to select there, flex pitch. And we should be able to then affect these notes. So this could have been a live bass recording, so it's just probably got that spinning wheel because it's currently analyzing the pitch of each individual note, and then it's going to give us a little dialogue. So there we can see, if I just zoom in a bit, we've got a nice little blob there for each transient of that bass. So if I pop the, I'll solo that so we can hear exactly what we're working with. So I can change that note if I want. So we can change those bass notes, or if there was this really works only for monophonic sounds, so a vocal or a bass or a single note solo guitar. You won't really get this sort of pitch stuff working very well on polyphonic sounds such as a rhythm guitar or a drum kit or anything like this. But you can see that we've successfully changed the note and it sounds quite authentic. And then if you just want to, this little middle button here, if it's slightly out of tune, you can just finely adjust the pitch up or down. It gives you that very fine. If that looks like it's slightly flat, because that line, the pitch line of that note isn't sort of in the center. So now we just want to use the fine pitch to kind of pop it bang in the center there. And if you need to, you can come in here and have a bit of a closer look. And then if all else fails, use your ears as well, so you don't trust totally what you're looking at with audio, because it's audio, so you trust your ears. So that's how you use the flex pitch function to affect audio in Logic.